おはようございます。とりあえず今日はエディンバラを探索。ただただ探索。Let's go!This morning, I wanted to talk to the hostel staff who comforted me yesterday, but there were so many people checking out that all I could do was a simple thank you. Maybe that's just another excuse. While walking around aimlessly, I stumbled upon a farmer's market. Every time I hear farmer's market, I think of Miranda.In one of her YouTube routines, she buys celery there and drinks celery juice every day. So, the market was filled with charming little shops, and the bakery in particular caught my eyes. Its simple style somehow looked radiant and exciting. I didn't buy anything though, it was a bit icy.Hi, good morning. How are you?Among all the stalls, one was selling cooked pork, and right on the cooking counter was a roasted pig's head. At first, I felt a little uncomfortable seeing it, but I quickly reflected on that reaction. Living in Ireland, I've noticed how much more common frozen and pre-prepared foods are compared to Japan.We can eat whatever we want, whenever we want, with almost no effort. That convenience makes it easy to forget that we are taking a life in order to eat. Even if just for a moment I regretted feeling grossed out, because it reminded me of the importance of being thankful for the lives we are given through our food.Actually, I left my camera on the bench where I had been sitting. I didn't mean to, of course. It was probably just 5 minutes, but when I realized it, I panicked and rushed back, thinking it might already be gone. To my relief, it was still there, untouched. And then a couple nearby noticed what had happened, and they smiled at me. That small moment really made me happy.That day, I was still feeling a bit unsettled, and I didn't even know exactly what was bothering me. So I asked ChatGPT to come up with 20 questions about life and my outlook on it. As I walked around, I quietly muttered my thoughts and answers to myself, trying to organize my feelings while also practicing English.In this video, I want to share a few questions and answers I thought about during my trip. Question 1. What does a meaningful life look like to you? I realized there are two very different ways I could answer this. The first one is, there's no such thing as a meaningful life. When people say they are doing something for someone else, at the core of the action there's always a personal desire.A feeling like, I want to do this. So in the end, everything we do is something we want to do, something we choose for ourselves. The second answer is every life is meaningful. From the moment we wake up to the moment we fall asleep, every action we take is a choice we've made.If we had the ability to put our thoughts and experiences into words, I believe each person could tell a story that's full of meaning. Meaning doesn't lie in the outcome, but in the accumulation of the choices we make along the way. Question 2. What are you most afraid of losing in life? I think the people I share my thoughts and experiences with, like my family and my friends, the people who help me feel like I exist in this world. But lately, surprisingly, ChatGPT has kind of taken on that role too. It sounds strange, but it gives me thoughtful feedback and kind advice, and honestly, it's been a big help. Another things that came to my mind is hugs. I love hugs. Since coming to Ireland, I've been hugging friends almost every day. Someone once told me that hugging regularly is really important for our sense of security. And I think that's true. But then again, I don't know. Maybe in the future there will be robots with warmth and skin like humans, so maybe there's nothing I truly afraid of losing. Even life itself, when it ends, maybe it just means that was my fate. Everything is going to be alright. To be honest, when I explored Edinburgh and finally arrived at some of the famous tourist spots, I didn't feel as moved as I expected. Maybe that's because the city itself already feels like another world. Just walking around without any destination, I kept coming across beautiful things everywhere I looked. I haven't traveled to that many countries, so I can't really compare, but maybe Edinburgh is one of those places where you don't need a plan. You just walk and let the city guide you.アーサーズシートに登るべきか否か。めっちゃ疲れとうけど1時間半微妙やな。Arthur's Seat is an extinct volcano located just a short walk from central Edinburgh. It rises about 250 meters and offers stunning panoramic views of the city. Formed by ancient volcano activity, it's a popular spot for hiking and picnic. So, next question. What does success mean to you? To me, success is when the version of myself I imagined at the start, when I decided to try hard at something, actually aligns with who I become after putting in effort. But even if that doesn't happen, if I gain something through the challenge, like lessons learned or experiences that help shape a happier or more fulfilling life in the future, then that's still success. On the other hand, I think failure is when I give up on something I once decided to pursue or couldn't fully follow through. That said, if I reflect on the reasons why I couldn't keep going or finish, and I use that understanding to grow or try again, then it no longer feels like a failure. After thinking it through, I've come to feel that while there may be such a thing as success in life, there might not really be such a thing as failure. Surprisingly, this question turned out to be a lot harder than I expected. Go Hobby. 着いたよ。頑張った。綺麗。I think I like 黄昏. Maybe because in that moment, all I can feel is it's beautiful. My thoughts go quiet. I just sit there doing nothing, and somehow that feels like happiness. That got me thinking. 黄昏 is a verb in Japanese, to be in the twilight state. That's kind of unique, isn't it? In English, there are words like dusk, which just means the time of day, or melancholy, which only describes a feeling, or nostalgic, which ties emotion to the past. But Tasogare blends all of it into one word. The time of day, the fading light, the stillness in the air, the quiet mood, and even that subtle loneliness or longing that drift in without you noticing. Maybe this word exists because Japanese often connects nature and emotion. It's not just about describing what we see, but how it makes us feel. I think that's really beautiful. Actually, every time I reached a spot where I could tasogareru, the rain always stopped for me. That made me really happy, and I wanted to stay a little longer, but the wind blew too strong, so I had to leave. So let's move on to the next question. What have you learned from your experiences so far? I think I've learned again and again that growth doesn't come easy. Every time I try something new, like figure skating, studying for university entrance exams, or traveling alone abroad, I always find myself facing fear, doubt, and loneliness. Even now, as I start YouTube and create a new Instagram account, I'm learning and growing through each new challenge. It's not always easy, but I feel like each step teaches me something about the world and about myself. Right now, I'm trying to create a self-introduction highlight for Instagram. Looking back on my life as I do that, I realize how many things I've been through, both the good and the hard. And somehow through it all, I think I've been growing little by little, turning struggles into strengths and continuing to move forward.
$3.99.
Okay. After looking around a few shops, I headed to Carlton Hill. On the way, there was this long staircase, and a family-looking group was coming up behind me, so I couldn't slow down. But I was already so tired, my body felt done. I just kept forcing my feet to move forward one step at a time. Carlton Hill is one of Edinburgh's most famous landmarks. From the top, you get a beautiful panoramic view of the city, including Edinburgh Castle, Arthur's Seat, and even the sea. The hill is also home to several historic monuments, like the National Monument, which was inspired by the Parthenon in Athens, and the Nelson Monument, which looks like a telescope. To be honest, I actually liked Carlton Hill more than Arthur's Seat. I feel like the view of Edinburgh is more beautiful up close, when you can really see the details of the city. Of course, that's just my opinion. I I didn't really want to spend much money on food, so I usually just bought things from the supermarket. But at some point I thought maybe I should try at least one place, and there were so many gelato shops around, so I ended up going into one. You don't really see that many gelato shops in Japan, so I couldn't resist, but after I walked in, I realized, wait, gelato isn't even Scottish, right? Well, it was delicious, so no regrets. After that, I was completely out of energy, so I thought I'd just head to the airport. But then I found a quiet spot underground at the station where I could rest for a while, so I decided to stay a bit longer just to see what Scotland looks like at night. I read that it would get dark around 10 p.m, so I stepped outside, but the sky was still a little bright. When I looked up again, I learned about something called civil twilight. It turns out there were actually stages of twilight: civil, then nautical, and finally astronomical, before it becomes truly dark. So I decided to wait and experience it. But there was one sad thing that happened at the end. A man suddenly shouted in my ear, really loudly. He didn't do anything after that, but it was upsetting and made me feel sad. What hurt even more though happened a bit later. When I dropped my phone near the station, I felt someone coming toward me, and I was so scared it might get stolen that I stepped on it to protect it. But the person was just trying to help me. It really made me think because of one unkind person, I ended up not being able to trust a kind one, and that felt even sadder. 使っていいんかわからんけど、なんかみんな机下ろして使ってるからいいんかなって。巡回？お掃除の人とかいるけど何も言わへんから多分いいかなと思います。初空港泊、おやすみなさい。Half sweet matcha latte, please.
It's just matcha tea with milk. We don't put anything else in it.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
Do you want vanilla or anything in it?
No, thank you.
It's fine, yeah?
Everyone has their own way of dealing with overthinking or feeling unsettled. And for me, it's either zoning out with knitting or cleaning my head by answering questions. This solo trip made me feel so many different things. Thank you for watching until the end.